The main man, Manchester's nomad, as I like to call him, Brendan Loughnane, who is returning to action this Thursday, PFL 2. Brendan, good to sit down and chat, mate. How are things with you today?
Always a pleasure, lad. It's been long enough, hasn't it?
Very long, very, very long. First and foremost, I presume it's been quite a long camp, judging by your Instagram and your socials. What's the last couple of months been like in Thailand?
I mean, we don't have camps, do we, around here? We train all year round, so I hate that term camp. But yeah, I did go to Thailand for training, but it was sick, man. Great training partners, loads of world-class athletes all around the mats. You know, Jemai was there, Peter Yan was there, fucking Damaris Magula, all these absolute killers everywhere. And just a great environment to put down and training. I loved it, mate. I loved it. I loved every second of it, and I had a fantastic training camp, and it was really structured.
With the exception of obviously the notable names who go and train down in Tiger Muay Thai, I guess what makes Tiger Muay Thai such a special place and such a place that gains so much knowledge and so much kind of skill set, if you like?
I think it's the environment for fighters. They make, like, there's 20 martial arts shops, there's 25, 30 places to eat, there's cheap hotels, there's cheap scooters. Like, the whole environment's made for fighters. And everybody's on the same wavelength. Probably anyone that goes to Tiger and goes to the pro classes, you know, it's no joke in there. And I think that everyone goes there with a similar mindset, and it breeds hungry lions.
How, first and foremost, have you been able to be getting your Sunday roast dinners in over in Thailand, or have you had to sacrifice those?
Believe it or not, I get a better Sunday roast in Thailand than I do in England. I'm joking. John's at the tavern, he'll love this, yeah. His wife is Thai, and she cooks the best roast I've ever had in my life. I've been having it for about 5 years, and I've been all over the world, and it's the best. So John's at the tavern, lad.
So one day, me and you are going to have to go for a roast dinner. But what is your essential roast dinner makeup? What are we talking for your favourite meat? What are we talking for vegetables?
Mike, I fly back Friday next week. I land Saturday. That means we're near Sunday, yeah?
Yeah.
Me and you go for a roast. I'll take you to a nice spot in England. But I'm not going to lie, the Thai one's better, but it's up there. But essentially, good, solid cauliflower cheese is a must. Crispy Yorkshire puds. Roast potatoes blackened. I like them black. I like the meat. Depending on, I do like a good lamb shank, not going to lie. I like honey glazed carrots, peas, and just very thick. I like thick gravy. I don't like the watery gravy. I like thick gravy. So yeah, that's the typical roast for me.
I've just realised what I've done and asked you to talk about food a couple of days before weigh-in, so apologies. We'll talk about the fight first and foremost. Your opponent coming up, Ryoji Kudo. I presume not an opponent that a lot of Brendan Loughnane fans are massively aware of. So, what are your opinions and what have you been able to see on your upcoming opponent?
I mean, I know as much as you might. Like, he's just a guy from that side of the world. I don't really know too much about him. It's a bit of a wild card with the other guys, Wade and Bubba and all these. You know what you're going to get. I feel like I've got a wild card. Like, you know, Strike got 8 knockouts, 10 wins. Looks fast, good shape. Who knows, man? It could be in for an absolute barn burner, or it could be a short night for him. Who knows?
Is there a little bit of not really knowing what to expect and kind of not being able to get too great of a gauge on him almost?
I mean, I can gauge it. I've seen enough to know what he's going to do. He's not going to, he's not going to change too much. I would have liked to have seen his last fight, but I can't find that anywhere. A lot of the fights I've seen is old, so he might have improved a lot. But, it's, mate, come on, 21-4 now. Like, I've seen great strikers, great wrestlers. I've seen, you name it, I've been in there with him. So I'm sure he's not going to bring anything that I've not seen before. And if he does, fair play to him, you know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot of similar names to last season, the likes of Bubba, Chris Wade, Lance. But there's a couple of new names. Obviously, Kudo's coming in, Boston Salmon's coming in as well. So I guess, what are your opinions on this 10-man tournament and how different it could potentially be to last?
It's wild, mate. Like, every year you just get a random bunch of nutters and just throw them all in the cage together and see who comes out number one. I love it. It's the way fighting should be. It's the way fighting started, stuff like this. Like, you get a phone call, you're fighting this guy on that date, you don't get a choice, mate. It's not, well, I ain't got as many Instagram followers as him and his sponsors don't match up with mine. It's none of that bullshit. You're talking about real fighters here, mate. Like, Ray Sefo gets on the phone, You got this guy, sweet. You can't say, oh, any chance of X, Y, and Z? Nah, mate, it's game on. So you've got to be prepared to fight all 9 of them guys, and I am. So whoever's next is next. Now we've got Ryoji Kudo, he's a good striker. Makes a difference because I've been fighting a lot of wrestlers. So let's see.
Obviously, the man who knocked you out of last year's tournament, the man who you went to war with, Movlead, is not in this year's tournament. How much different does that make it? And does that make the potential of winning the tournament at the end of it any more easier in your head?
I mean, last year I looked up and down the list and I thought, fuck, it'll be a hard fight. Like, I'm a realist. I thought he's going to be the toughest matchup, and then we bumped into each other, and he was the toughest matchup. Not only that, there was loads of factors going into the fight, broken hand, that fucking whatever. But the better man won on the night, and I look up and down the paper this year. I think this is mine. This is my $1 million. Starting with Kudo. And another thing about this, you've got to learn how to fucking pace yourself here. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, 4 fights in 5 months is absolutely wild, bro. Like, I've been doing 1 fight, 3 months, next fight, 6 months, next fight, like them kind of breaks. But here, it's a whole different type of fight. And that's why wrestlers have typically done well, because they take no damage and they hold you down and there's no elbows. So, yeah, I mean, I've adjusted to that. I know what to expect now. And I know not to be fucking in the gym Monday morning doing sprints straight after a fight, like relax a bit in between, engage it. And it took me 1 season to figure all that out. And Brendan 2.0, here we go.
Obviously, you're a lot older now, a lot more experienced than fighting on some of the other organisations. But I guess how much has your kind of training and preparation changed in terms of the tournament formula? Because as you mentioned, you've got to kind of gauge it and pace yourself correctly for training and making sure you get that right for the 5-6 month period. I
think going Thailand was a good idea. Getting 3 months, 2.5 months in there, and really digging deep and setting a good base, which I've done. That's there now. I think it's just a maintenance phase in between each fight now. Maintaining, keeping myself nice and sharp. I've built a good solid base in the strength and conditioning. Good solid base with all the other foundations of mixed martial arts, and now it's just about ticking over in between. You know, fights don't always go the way you think they're going to go. 2 black eyes, black hands. Well, injuries are good. You're going to pick them up, but it's about dealing with them, getting them out your system as quick as possible and ready for the next one. It's wild, mate. It is. Yeah.
What is the plan for the entirety of this tournament? Where will you stay and where will you be training in between fights?
I'll be back in England, man. This is me now. I'm going back to England for the foreseeable. So back to good old north of England with yourself. And yeah, I'm excited, mate. I'm excited to get back there, to be honest. I'll fly back the day after the fight and not been back for a long time. So I'm excited. I'm back with my coach, back with Tony Musa, back with Kane, back with the boys, maintaining over for getting ready for the next guy and breaking them down and doing the same thing over again.
How much different is it, obviously, fighting in Austin, Texas this time round? A bit of crowd attendance as well. How much different is it for you? Obviously, the PFL were quite kind of stringent with pandemic measures last year, and obviously got a little bit easier. But is there any different that going in this second time round?
I just want to say, like, thank you to PFL, man. Young lad from fucking Withington in Manchester. You know, I fought Madison Square Garden, Mandalay Bay, Atlantic City twice, Miami again. Now it's in Texas. Then I'm going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Like, come on, bro. Like, I get to travel the whole of the States. And that's why I do fun shit when I'm here. I come here a week out, Six Flags, fucking this and that. It doesn't take away from anything. The hard work's 3 months in the bag. This is just a bit of chilling now and enjoying the fruits of my labour, man. Getting here and be like, fucking hell, bro. Like, you've done well here. Now it's just a world title and $1 million for the mantelpiece, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I've heard a couple of rumours, Brendan, and I don't know if you're able to give me any information, but I've heard some rumours the PFL are planning to go to some shows in the UK this summer. Have you heard anything about that? And if so, how tantalising is it of a Brendan Loughnane PFL main event on UK shows?
In true Northwest fashion, no comment.
Right answer.
Don't get me involved in all that, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a question I'll ask you. And I don't get the impression you like questions like this, knowing you, but I'm going to ask you it nonetheless. The last time out we spoke, I asked you what means more, the belt or the $1 million. and what percentage? And it was 80-20 for the belt. What is it now going into this 2022 season?
Good question, lad. Well done, mate. I'd say about equal, man. I'm not getting any younger. That belt means the world to me, but so does securing my family's future. So it's like, I'd say they both have a massive part to play in this season. Like, I've been in it a long time, and it's time to fucking make everyone proud of me now and really fucking go for this belt. Like, I deserve it, man.
Yes.
I deserve it. I've had all the knockbacks. I've fought all the guys that I needed to fight. I've never backed down from a fight. I've fucking fought my heart out every time. I've been through the injuries. I've been through the highs and the lows of the sport. Now it's my time, man. I fucking deserve it, bro. That's the truth.
Yeah. And second fold to this question, if we say Brendan Loughnane is in the final come November of the 2022 of the Featherweight World Championship, who's your money on to be standing opposite you in that final?
Chris Wade seems to be doing pretty well getting to these finals, so probably him. I don't really know. There's a couple of sleepers in here. Like, there's this guy from Germany who's snuck in the back door. There's a guy from Mexico, good striker, combate champion. Who the fuck knows, mate? This is wild again. Like, pick it out of a hat, literally. Like, who can stay healthy? Who gets the right matchups? Who knows, mate? Let's see.
Yeah, of course, mate. Well, it was a pleasure to sit down and chat as always and get some of your time. Thank you very much for jumping on so near to the fight, and best of luck for Thursday if we don't speak beforehand.
Top man, cheers for that, Mikey, mate.
Before we finish, mate, how can people find you on social media and any sponsors or anything like that you'd like to plug before we finish?
Yeah. I want to thank Montrex, giving me some good swag. Green Life, as always. Prevail have just jumped on board. I want to thank them too. And yeah, all my friends and family, everyone that's helped me for this fight. And you can always catch me at Brendan MMA, but you can also catch me now on Channel 4. So tune in. It's a bit of a shit time, 2 a.m. I know, but set the alarm clocks because you don't want to miss it.